But yes, students, today I am going to explain you one two questions in maths related to similarity. The first question is, in the given figure beside PA, QB and RC are each perpendicular to AC, prove that 1 by x plus 1 by z equals to 1 by y. This is the figure. Here PAC is one triangle, another triangle is ACR. In this PA, QB and RC. All these three are perpendicular on line AC. Sorry. So we can say that PA is perpendicular on AC, QB is perpendicular on AC, and RC is perpendicular on AC. And so you find that angle A is 90 degree, angle B is 90 degree, angle C is 90 degree. And then we have to prove that 1 by x plus 1 by z equals to 1 by y. So now the proof is, solution is, in triangle PAC you find that BQ is parallel to AP. So from the basic proportionality theorem or Thales theorem, we get BQ by AP equals to CB by CA. As you find in this figure, PA perpendicular AC and QB perpendicular AC, that's why PA is parallel to QB. So in the triangle APC you find BQ parallel AP, and so BQ by AP equals to CB by CA, and this implies Y by X equals to CB by CA. This is equation 1. Similarly, in triangle ACR you find BQ parallel CR. So from Thales theorem we get BQ by CR equals to AB by AC, and this implies Y by Z equals to, because BQ is Y, CR is Z. So Y by Z equals to AB by AC. This is the second equation. So as in this triangle you see ACR triangle, QB is parallel to AC. And so from Thales theorem this QB by CR equals to we have got QB by CR equals to AB by AC. That means Y by Z equals to AB by Z. This is second equation. And now adding equation 1 and 2. What the equation we are adding, and then we get here Y by X plus Y by Z equals to CB by CA plus AB by AC. CB can be written as BC and CA can be written as AC. So here this implies Y by X plus Y by Z equals to, here we find LCM. LCM is CA or AC. And up is in the numerator it is BC plus AB. BC plus AB you are adding, then you will get AC. Then AC by AC we get, and that is equals to 1. So Y by X plus Y by Z equals to AC by AC, and this implies Y by X plus Y by Z equals to 1. Now here Y by X plus Y by Z, here Y we will take common, then here 1 by X plus 1 by Z will be left. So this implies Y into, in the parenthesis, Y 1 by X plus 1 by Z equals to 1, and this Y will come right side, then it becomes 1 by X plus 1 by Z equals to 1 by Y. Hence proof. This only we have to prove. Now second question is, in the given figure beside triangle FEC congruent triangle GBT and angle 1 equals to angle 2. Prove that triangle ABE similar triangle ABC. So this is the figure ABC, in which BC is produced backward and forward. Backward till F, forward till G. So FG is the line on which BC also lies. So you find here that angle 1 equals to angle 2, it is given. That means AD equals to A, because side opposite to equal angles are equal in an isosceles triangle. And now here the proof is, as it is given that triangle FEC congruent triangle GBD. So if these two triangles are congruent, then we get EC equals to BD. Yeah, this is the first equation we get. And as angle 1 equals to angle 2, this implies AD equals to AE, because sides opposite to equal angles are equal. So AD equals to AE and BD equals to AC. So AD plus DB equals to AE plus EC. And this implies AB equals to AC. This implies angle 3 equals to angle 4. That means angle opposite to equal sides are equal. As side opposite to equal angles are equal. And then AD by BD equals to AE by AC. This implies D parallel BC. Because from the converse of Thesis theorem. Because in Thesis theorem, you know that in a triangle, if D is parallel to BC, here in ABC triangle, D is parallel to BC, then what we find? AD by DB equals to AE by AC we get. And conversely, if these two AD by DB equals to AE by AC, then D is parallel to BC. This is only the converse. So, D parallel BC. And this implies angle 1 equals to angle 3, corresponding angles. Angle 2 equals to angle 4, corresponding angles. And so angle DAE equals to angle BAC. And angle ADE equals to angle ABC. In triangle ADE and ABC, we find two corresponding angles are equal. So the third will be also equal. And so by angle criterion of similarity, triangle ADE is similar to triangle ABC. Hence, thank you. If you like, please share and subscribe.